It is no secret that science has left us shocked from every direction, whether it is by oceans or space, underground or on land. Ever since humans have had the tools to find these things and test them, we have come to know so much that before we never would have imagined it could be possible. In addition to all these things, there's one more thing that also played a major role in the discovery of these things, and that is caves. Over the past few decades, caves have provided us with so much information about our history that we would have never been able to imagine it if it wasn't for them. That's why, in today's video, we are going to tell you about some of the shocking discoveries that have been made inside the ancient caves. So make sure to watch the video until the end. Let's start with a 3 million-year-old footprint. The human race is a species of walkers, and we're really good at it. There are other creatures that can walk on two legs. For instance, chimpanzees can walk with bent knees and bent hips, like Groucho Marx, but no animals walk the way we do, with the torso vertical, the legs extended, and the stride long, like the way we do. Paleoanthropologists point out that the ability of human ancestors to be able to walk and to do so with the least amount of energy expended at the time predates the development of big brains among their ancestors. By walking, species were able to utilize their hands for tools and weapons, as well as roam far and wide if they needed to find food and other resources. In fact, walking is so essential that Carol Ward, a professor of anatomy at the University of Missouri, said that walking is huge. Walking set the stage for all those things that come later. But the question is, when did our ancestors begin to walk the way we do? So, if we look at the footprints, we can find a lot of information. There is evidence that human ancestors lived about 3.6 million years ago at two sites in Laetoli, Tanzania, where footprints of those ancestors have been found. It is believed that they were the members of the Australopithecus genus. There is a genus called Lucy that is found on the fossilized bones in Ethiopia in 1974 that bears the name of the 3.2 million year old human ancestor who is referred to as Lucy. The work of evolutionary anthropologist David Raiklin, who teaches at the University of Arizona, has examined the footprints left behind by Laetoli and compared them with those left behind by human volunteers in laboratory settings. In the study, he examined the footprints of individuals who walked normally, as well as those who walked with bent knees and bent hips. And by comparing the footprints with modern human footprints, there is a closer match between the Laetoli footprints and modern human footprints. In fact, in a 2018 conference in advance of a symposium on the evolution of human locomotion at the Experimental Biology in San Diego, Raiklin said that upright, human-like bipedal walking goes back 4 to 5 million years. If you were in a time machine, looking at Lucy in the distance, the way they walked would have looked very human-like, said Ward, another symposium participant. This ability to walk in such a manner emerged through natural selection as our ancestors adapted to the changing conditions of their environment as time progressed. Because of the effects of climate change on the forests, they were drying out. It is generally accepted that our primate cousins remained in trees and ate a lot of ripe fruit, where their anatomy was adapted for vertical climbing and swinging from branch to branch as they survived. However, long ago, some people chose another path, striking out in search of a brand new frontier. There was a gradual change in their behavior as they went to the ground more, and then, through many evolutionary changes, they eventually left the trees behind completely. Gone was the big grasping toe. Instead, the big toe aligned with other toes. Also, our arched feet are an evolutionary development because they stiffen rather than fold when we push off the back foot as we walk our regular gait. Besides these anatomical features, we also depend on our head being steady as we walk in order to keep our weight balanced over our legs. During the symposium, Ian Wallace, an evolutionary biologist at Harvard University, and another speaker mentioned that upright walking is regarded as the defining characteristic of the human lineage. Its consequences are hard to oversell. However, that wasn't all. A Mexican cave has recently uncovered surprising old stone points, raising questions about when humans arrived in the Americas. During most of the 20th century, archaeologists generally thought humans only ventured further into North America when retreating ice sheets opened a migration corridor about 13,000 years ago. But recently, researchers discovered sites across the Americas that were thousands of years older, pushing back the arrival of the first Americans. New research from Mexico's Chiquihuit Cave suggests that human history in the Americas may be twice as long as previously thought. According to Cyprian Ardelian, an archaeologist at Zacatecas University in Mexico, people lived in central Mexico 26,500 years ago. Ardelian's work was published in Nature along with another study that looked at 42 early human sites across North America from the Bering Strait to Virginia. The data from those sites helped scientists reimagine not just when, but how the first people reached and populated the New World. The model includes some archaeological sites, like Chiquihuit Cave, which are intriguing but controversial, as experts disagree on if they are human-occupied. Chiquihuit Cave is high on the Astillero Mountains, 9,000 feet above sea level and 3,280 feet above the valley level. In 2012, a test pit uncovered a few stone artifacts that suggested humans lived there between 18,000 and 26,000 years ago. More extensive excavations were carried out in 2016 and 2017, revealing 1,900 stone points and possible cutting, chopping, scraping, or weapon tools. The artifacts were dated by 46 different radiocarbon samples of adjacent animal bones, charcoal, and sediment samples. To the team, they represent a previously unknown technology of advanced flaking. There was more than 90% of greenish or blackish stone artifacts, though those colors are less common locally, so the authors think they were picked out for their beauty. According to scientists, the cave may have been used for more than 10,000 years since the bulk of the material dates back to 13,000 to 16,600 years ago. Ardelian knows that Chiquihuit's really old dates will raise eyebrows among archaeologists. However, he suggests they probably got to America even earlier than 30,000 years ago, before glaciers blocked the route from Beringia if they visited this cave during the last glacial maximum. The latest discovery, published in Nature 1 on 22 July, questions that consensus. But a team led by Cyprian Ardelian has been excavating Chiquihuit Cave since 2012, which lies 2,740 meters above sea level in Mexico's Astillero Mountains. Researchers found that almost 2,000 stone tools, 239 of which were carbon dated between 25,000 and 32,000 years old. Due to the lack of these oldest tools, Ardelian thinks the site was only visited occasionally, perhaps as a refuge every few decades. At the height of the last ice age, 26,000 years ago, North America would have been dangerous. A professor at the University of Arizona in Tucson says the team makes a good case for ancient human occupation. However, cave data is notoriously hard to interpret. Maybe geological or biological activity shifted stone tools into the deeper layers. Maybe burrowing animals moved them, making them seem older. That's assuming they're stone tools. According to him, there is no clear evidence that this is the case in the images in the paper, which has been echoed by archaeologist Ben Potter, who works at Liaocheng University in China. While Ardelian admits that some of the tools may have shifted into lower layers, he says that the 239 oldest tools lie beneath an impenetrable layer of mud formed during the height of the last ice age, so they must be at least that old. As a matter of fact, he believes some of them may have telltale signs of being made by novices learning from masters. He says someone was teaching someone else at the site. The team found relatively few traces of human presence aside from stone tools. Despite searching the cave dirt for ancient human DNA, geneticists at the University of Copenhagen were unable to find it. Although until now, we have had a pretty strong evidence that humans are much older than we think they are. Anyway, this brings us to the end of today's video. We hope that you liked the video, so make sure to give it a thumbs up. And for more such knowledgeable videos, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to press that bell icon to never miss an